Hey everybody, back again. Finally got some time off of work. I'm going to start working on my Kibler Colonial Rifle a little bit. Some of the things I'm going to do is I got my vise set up. I have the rifle. I actually have the cover of the crate off, which is farther than I've gotten in months. And again, the purpose of me just showing what I'm doing with this rifle is not to show you my prowess at kit rifle building, because I don't have any. I'm going to show you that step by step, what I'm doing, what happens, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. I'm going to do the best I can with it. I'm going to take my time. I'm probably going to keep this little short videos. And the first thing I'll show you is my VersaVise, which I got set up right here on the bench. So I just bolted it down. I bolt them all down on a piece of pine, doubled up glued pine, so I can clamp it down to the workbench. There's enough mass here that it really doesn't move around. One of the things I did do, from our friends at McMaster Car, where I buy everything, I got some rubber sheet material. It's adhesive backed. I just lined the jaws of my vise with this material. I know you can use wood, you can use some leather on there. I just happen to have this material for another project, so I said, what the heck, let me give it a try, and it seems to work pretty well. So that's what I have on there. And I also took some time just to build. Since I'm not overhanging the bench, I'm kind of working over the bench. I just made myself just out of some scrap wood. And this is actually, the top of this is the same height as my vise. So I do have my stock pulled out. Here's my stock. So just kind of like it was the first time we looked at it. And I'm just going to put it right in there. And it seems to go in okay with the rubber padding, and it seems to hold it pretty well in there. And the front's resting on here. I have my barrel. So the barrel is the Kibler 50 cal 1-in-70 twist, and I guess the first step is to set it in there, what I understand. And I'm just going to set it right in, nice and easy, because the fore end of this stock is kind of delicate. Okay, so that went in pretty good. And I'm sure there's going to be a little chiseling I have to do. And to get this in, I'm going to tap it down a little bit, like Jim talks about. And one of the things about me is, as an electrician, electricians chisel things. I use a chisel like this, and I'm either hacking away the 2x4 or 2x6, taking a chunk of wood out, cutting in a door switch or something. There's no precision in what I do with a chisel. So working with, actual, precision chisels is something different for me. In the course of my regular work, you take off a little bit, it's not going fast enough, get a bigger hammer, knock the chunk out. That's what it is. This is a little more finesse work. So that's why I'm cautious and I'm taking my time, and I would advise anybody trying to do this kind of work to do that also. So it looks like we're a little proud here. I'm just going to use my mallet. Seems like it's going in pretty good. Looks like there's a little gap right here and a little gap towards the back. I'm just going to tap the end of the barrel a little bit with my mallet to see if I can drive it back a little bit and hold on to the forestock. So let's see what that did on the other end. It still looks like it could go back a little bit, and it looks like I still have a little gap there. So I'm going to take the barrel out. I'm going to do it like they showed it. I have a little piece of scrap leather I had left over from something. I just tap it out lightly. I feel it coming out, and there you go. It just came apart in my hands. So we'll carefully separate the barrel. And I'm just going to set the stock aside for now. And I'm going to take this barrel, and I think we're going to want to use some of the marking compound on it. So let me see if I can turn this a little bit. So the area we're going to put the compound on is anything over here that would be hitting in the stock. And in looking at the stock, clamp this in here quickly. Looking back in the areas back here, there might be some spots that were a little rounded edges. I was picking away a little bit with my chisel just to see if I could remove it ahead of time, anything that was really proud. So I'm going to start using the marking compound. I'm going to use some of the marking compound, and you know, I understand you could use candle black, some guys use lipstick, things like that. Since it was my first assembly, I wanted to use, you know, a specific product, which I've shown this before. It's the Jarrow's Inletting Black. This stuff, the word on the street is it gets all over you. I imagine it's a lot like anti-seize compound. It's on your hands, it's on your face, it's all over the place. Directions say to lightly pounce onto the metal part with a short bristle brush to fit metal to wood. Okay, so I'm going to open that up. There it is. I happen to have a little short bristle brush, you know, something I had gotten from McMaster-Carr once upon a time. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the end. So I guess when they're saying pounce, they don't want me to, and I just need a very little bit on the end, they don't want you to paint this stuff on. So they just want you to pounce it on there. So I'm just going to pounce this on there. Let me rotate this over. You know what, I should probably get a little bit back here too. Okay, now that I've pounced on that compound, I'm just going to take a little alcohol and I'm just going to clean off, you know, a little bit on the outside of the barrel here where I got had a little too much pouncing, just to kind of lessen the oh Jesus, there you go. Just to kind of lessen the opportunity to get that all over myself. Now we'll put this barrel in so you can kind of see where I've put the compound on there. So I really just want to see where it's going to be touching. It looked like it went down pretty flush on the tang, so I didn't bother putting any on the bottom, but if I have to take it out a few times, I'm happy to do that. Okay, so that's in there. Press it down a little bit. Tap it in. That's pretty darn flush there. I'm just going to tap the barrel back a little bit, as prescribed. And kind of see where we ended up here. So it looks like we are almost all the way back on here. This is sitting a little bit proud. I can see right there. This is pretty exactly flush right here, tiny bit proud in the back. And of course, there you go, I got the stuff on my fingers already. And it's all over the place. So I think we'll take that out and we'll see where this is hitting. A little gap right there. It looks pretty good. So let's pop it out of the vise and we'll separate the barrel and we'll see what it looks like. Almost looks like a rifle. There you go, so it's separated. And we will take that out. I'll just set the barrel aside for now. Put this back in and we'll take a peek at it. So ignore the stuff I got all over the top, but you can kind of see there's no black at all in the top up here. And I can see that there, and I'm thinking the screw will draw that down that tiny little bit. I can see there's a little bit of black in here, a little bit here, a little bit down here on the bottom. And on the other side, I can see there's just a little bit. you know, back in here. So I think we'll be working to try, we're not going to try to remove it all, I don't think, because I think the fit is pretty good. But we may just try to shave away just a little bit of the material, some of the black material. And we'll just go nice and easy with it. Tiny little bits. I think almost like they say, the thickness of saran wrap is the amount of material you want to remove at one time. So I'm not really removing very much, just because, like I said, I'm a nervous chiseler. And we'll go along and just kind of clean it out a little bit, straighten out these edges. Do a little bit on the other side here. Clean it down vertically a little bit. I tell you, with these sharp chisels, you really can take a lot of material off very quickly, and I just want to take my time. And not that I think I could do much damage inside, you know, inside this area here. I want to be very careful up in this area up here, and I don't want to make a mess of any of these edges. So I can kind of hack away, and this is where I'm getting, hopefully I'm getting my experience with some of this finer chiseling. And we'll just clean it out a little bit. I'll clean out some of these edges going down. I mean, the chisels, this is a Swiss-made 6mm chisel, and this thing just works great. You have to put hardly any pressure on it, and it just cuts the end grain like butter. So I'm going to work on that, and then once I get this barrel fit up, we'll be back. Okay, as prescribed, I have black stuff all over my hands, so that's very true. I did do some chiseling on here, little nerve-wracking. It does seem like we're back all the way. Looks like it's back the tang's back all the way here in the stock. It's kind of a smooth finish so far, and it looks like the bolt hole lines up perfectly. I'm just going to pop the barrel out one more time just to see what it looks like if we're touching any place else in there. But otherwise, it doesn't look bad. Okay. Okay, so it looks like it's just touching in a few little spots back here. Looks like we're touching a bit in the corner back here, a little bit. And looks like we're touching, it's a tight fit at the top. I don't know that I'm going to fool around with that very much. I think that looks okay. I think I'm going to get in trouble if I start to try to clean this up a little bit. And we just have this one little area, which I'm pretty confident I can get that out of there. So just going to go nice and easy. And, in Jim's videos, Jim talks about the optivisors, and he also talks about the having good lighting, and he is not kidding. You definitely need the optivisors. I would definitely have excellent lighting, because it makes a real difference when you're trying to do this work. And this is certainly very different than me taking a rusty, broken chisel and hacking into somebody's door frame to put a light switch in there for their closet or pantry lights, that's for sure. And these chisels, they just cut like crazy, and you got to keep them sharpened, but I think in my case, I'll get through this whole project without sharpening it. I think that's it. Maybe just hit a little bit back here. Really don't have to put much pressure on it, that's for sure. it's pretty squared off at the bottom. There was a little rounded edge down here that I was able to chip out. And I'm sure somebody could really do a much nicer job on this than I do. But it would seem that, you know, woodworking is not my total forte here. But I think as long as I kind of stay down inside the stock of the rifle, I don't think there's too much damage I can do. I would definitely, as a beginner, stay away from any nice edges or sharp edges or anything like that, because I'm just going to totally jack that up. Want to really get that edge square in the back. There was like I said, there was a bit of a rounded edge there from the tool that Jim used to cut this out. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm not going to fool around up here because that was really a nice tight fit. And I'm afraid I don't want to fool around up here too much either. I mean, I see there's a little touching right there, but I don't think that's really preventing me from getting in there too much. So let me pop this barrel back in again. And I gotta say, I think that looks pretty good. And like I said, I didn't take any material at all away from here. That's just how it was when I got it. It didn't need anything that I can see. You know, the wood might be slightly proud of the tang up here, which is fine. So I can sand right down to it, and it's like almost perfectly flush. The wood's just a hair proud back here, and the bolt hole lines up 100%. So I think I'm pretty much where I have to be. I might fiddle around with it a little bit, but that's probably enough for now. Next time we come back, we'll see if we can get that the bolt in and get the trigger plate in and things like that. We'll go on to my next step. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.